it's Lizzie. So today's video is about Myers-Briggs and being an ESTJ. And if you don't know what Myers-Briggs is, go look in the description and click on a bunch of those links and read up on it so you know what I'm talking about. This video is mainly about being a female ESTJ because I've read a lot of like Myers-Briggs forums, I've read different things online or like watched people's videos, and we don't exist. Like, female ESTJs like are not like a thing. ESTJ is super common among guys but not among girls. So I thought it'd be interesting telling you guys my perspective on life and like how it is being me. But first, for anyone new to Myers-Briggs, I wanted to explain like why I love it. I think there's a lot of misconceptions I've heard because I like talk about it with like every single person I meet, and a lot of people are like, oh, like don't put me in a box, and it's not putting you in a box. It's kind of just like another categorization. Like, I'm a Pepperdine student, I like cats, I like zebra print, I'm a Christian, I'm an ESTJ. It's like another way to like understand people, and also it's just like tendencies. So each letter isn't like, oh, I'm always extroverted. It's like I tend to be extroverted. Or like with thinking over feeling, like I tend to make decisions with logic, but I also make a lot of decisions just like gut feeling, intuitive. But it's like your go-to, like what you tend to do, what you prefer, what seems more natural. And a lot of people I've met too are like really in the middle on a lot of the letters. So I don't at all think it's like a way to put people in a box. I just think it's a way to better understand other people and better understand yourself. And for me, like, I'm very comfortable as an ESTJ working like by myself, but that's not how life is. Like, you have to interact with people and work with people and get along with people, and I'm so like confrontational and most people aren't. So instead I like research their Myers-Briggs and how it interacts with mine, and then I understand the problem more, and then I'm able to like understand their perspective more and kind of like fix the problem without actually dealing with it. So it helps me communicate with people, understand people, and be more patient with people when we don't really like communicate or see eye to eye. But it also helps me point out my own flaws and realize like my problem areas where I need to change, other people's problem areas where they need to change. But do not use it like telling your friends like this is your problem area and your Myers-Briggs change. But I just like think it really helps me and like with relationships in my life to just like be like, this is a tendency I have and this is like something I need to work on. I'm gonna link the test below too, and by the way, I don't trust the test because it tells me I'm an ENFJ and I'm not an ENFJ like at all. So don't trust the test, like actually read the profiles to find the one that like fits you the best. Also, I wanted to say for anyone who's like anti-Myers-Briggs that it's not an excuse to act a certain way. Like, it says ESTJs are like really impatient. That doesn't mean like I don't need to work on being patient. Like, that's a problem. And if your Myers-Briggs says like you're bad at dealing with emotions or you tend to be oversensitive, that isn't an excuse. Like, you need to work on that area. So I never have been viewing Myers-Briggs as like, oh, I'm allowed to be a jerk, or like, oh, this person I can never get along with. Like, it's a way to like understand other people better, and it's really fun. Okay, so as an ESTJ, my number one kind of value is like work ethic and efficiency and getting stuff done. I'm just really good at getting stuff done. I love getting stuff done. I love being in charge and being the leader and being in control. And also for the whole like control thing, it's kind of a pride thing, but it's also a real thing. I've experienced so many times that people just, they slack off, they don't do their work, and they're not on the same page as I am about like turning in excellent work. And so like, probably starting in like middle school or high school, I just decided like, okay, I'm just gonna take over all the group projects, pretend to give different jobs to different people, but actually like do most of the work because I just don't trust other people. Also, that's one of my flaws where like I'm bad at like involving other people in it because I just don't care. Like, if someone's feelings get hurt, I don't care because the end goal is just finishing the project. And I went to Thailand this past summer with a guy who's an ENFJ, and he told me that in a group project situation, his number one goal, like starting off, is to make everyone feel included. And when he said that, I was just like, what? Like, it was such a bizarre concept to me because as an ESTJ, like, I don't care. But one thing that like is an ESTJ thing is just like I really care how I look, and I put a ton of effort into like my makeup and my hair and my outfits. I just like, I want to be fashionable, I want to look cute. And in my family, my mom's an ENTJ, my dad's an INTJ, my sister's an INFJ. My parents just like don't really care about like the house looking cute in the way I would define cute, and they don't really like, my mom doesn't wear that much makeup, my mom doesn't go shopping all the time. Like, neither of my parents like care about looking like cute, which that's a weird word to give to adults, but you know what I mean. Like, they don't care about personal appearance as much, whereas that's something I like really value. Something else about ESTJs is like we're really honest and we just like say things how it is and we don't sugarcoat, and I'm actually trying to work on being kind of like indirect in communicating things to people because so many people don't like confrontation and they don't like being told like their flaws and how they're wrong. And like me, like I don't view it as a personal attack when someone says like, you're doing awful at this, change this. Like I love when people confront me and tell me what's wrong with me and like what I need to change. Another thing that is kind of like a flaw of ESTJs, but also like a strength, is I will just like work and never ever take breaks. And my YouTube channel is a really good example of this. Like I'll just edit for like 8 hours straight, and when I'm working I'm like so focused on it that I will like forget to eat. I like don't care about sleeping. Like it's like unhealthy. It becomes so unhealthy because I'm so like focused on like efficiency and getting stuff completed and done. Something about when I work is I don't really need affirmation. Like I'm a campus ministry intern, and our campus minister is like one of my favorite people at Pepperdine, and she's so sweet, and she always like sends these like super encouraging notes to me like when I like get something done for campus ministry, and like I love it, but I don't really need it. Like for me, it's kind of like I see everything as like a moral obligation, like obligations. Like of course I'm gonna do it. It's not like I'm going above and beyond just to get something done in a really good way. Like that's not like going above and beyond for me. It's just like that's expected of myself kind of thing. And that's also a problem. Like I have super high expectations, and I can be really critical of myself and other people. And I just like, whenever I make a mistake in life, like I just like attack myself almost because I'm so like perfectionist kind of thing. Something else about ESTJs is we can be like really impatient and judgmental of inefficiency. When people just like aren't getting stuff done, like I experienced this in high school a ton. Like we would be in debate class and we have a tournament coming up in a week, and I'm researching and there's guys over here like messing around on the computer. That just like irritated me so much. Same thing in my TV production class. I would be like editing and working and like getting the story done, and other people would just be so chill and hanging out. And when I'm in work mode, like we are not hanging out. Like it just like, I don't know, I kind of separate like work and like fun in like different categories. And so when I'm working, I don't want, like it can be fun and exciting and you can be passionate about it, but you can't be like slacking off and having fun. I've read a lot about ESTJs and like everyone thinks we're jerks, but we get stuff done and we run society. Also, I've been super involved my entire life. I think that's a very like ESTJ thing. Like in elementary school, I started playing viola, and I did ballet and choir, and then in middle school I got involved also in like cross country, track, math counts, math Super Bowl. I've just been super involved in activities. Like to me, I love more commitments. Like the more commitments, the better. And some people I meet, like they don't like getting involved in things and like committing to things, but for me, like I love having a full schedule and like being in leadership positions and like going to things. Like that is like so like I need it in my life kind of thing. And that's another thing, like I'm really like a people gatherer and I'm extroverted, so I can like go and be like, come join this activity. And so like at Pepperdine I like lead different clubs, and I'm really good at like getting people to like get involved in things and join things and inviting people to things. Also, ESTJs are kind of like people. We like having fun. I love having fun. Like I love going to parties, not parties like alcohol parties. I've never been to like an alcohol party, but like I love like dancing and like having fun and like singing and like laughing and like exploring and like people and laughing and smiling. Like I just love like people and hanging out with people and my friends, and I love them so much. I think ESTJs are generally just like really impatient people, and I really worked on that, on like becoming patient, and I think I'm really patient now, but but I'm still like, when it comes to a work environment or when it comes to like people changing, I can be impatient. Like I'm really forgiving, and I don't think that's an ESTJ thing. I think that's like a God working in my heart thing, in that I'm forgiving like so fast to people. But examples of when I'm not, like there comes a point with people where I just like okay, like this is over. Like this guy who we were friends, he was just like really like emotionally like controlling and just like really messing with me, and for a while like he was really like emotionally powerful over me. But eventually, like when I realized what was going on, I just got to a point where I like cut him out of my life completely, and I haven't been friends with him for like 10 months, and we're never gonna be friends again, because it just like got to a point where I'm just like, okay, like stop. And the same thing happened in high school a couple times, where like this one girl I was like best friends with freshman year she was just really like deceptive and like, I don't know, not like a good influence on my life or a good person. And I just like told her one day like, we're not friends anymore, and I just was like, that's it. And so I think I have the tendency as an ESTJ to just like, instead of trying to work through a problem, to just kick the person out of my life. ESTJs, we don't see things like long term, we see like the immediate problem, and my drive is to just like fix the immediate problem without thinking of the long term effects. And so sometimes the quickest way is to just like kick someone out of your life. And I know that sounds really harsh, and probably that's also affected by like I've moved around a lot, and ESTJs like hate change or whatever, but I love change, and I think it's because I was forced to move so much that it like emotionally scarred me, and so I'm just like, okay, I like change even though I like secretly hate it. I'm also very relentless, so if I want something I get it, and I will just like keep working at it until I get it. And so if I'm dealing with a customer service person and like this actually happened when I was in high school, like my camera broke and it was like within the warranty, but the fine print of the warranty like didn't cover what broke, and it was just like so ridiculous. I was really angry at the company, and so I kept like calling them up and I was like, can I talk to your manager? Can I talk to your manager? And I was just really like I was gonna get my brand new camera, and eventually after talking to customer service for a couple hours, like they finally sent me a new camera. So I'm really good at like manipulating people. Okay, that sounds so awful, but it's like one of my flaws too. Like I know how to manipulate people to get what I want by being like annoying or by being like flirtatious. Like I can just like get what I want, and this is like making me sound like an awful person, but I guess everyone has their flaws, and like these are mine. This is like ESTJ. So I'm just like really good at like when I want something, it's like I'm gonna do like everything I can to get it. And I guess I'm just like, I don't give up. And when there's a challenge, I'm just like, okay, like that makes me even more motivated to go after it. Like while some people would like back down, I'm like, okay, like let's do it. When I approach problems like extreme poverty or like modern slavery going on in the world, like that I think is like so awful, even though most people would say like that's a huge problem, like we cannot make a difference, like I am so like driven towards challenges that I don't care that it looks impossible. Like I'm gonna still fight to get it. Also, I think I'm naturally like confident and assertive, and people have told me that I'm intimidating before. I don't really understand what that means. I don't want to be intimidating. I'm sorry if I am. I don't think I come across as intimidating in these videos, but people have told me that in life. Also, I love arguing. Arguing is one of my favorite things ever. I used to be like very like as a teenager, I was really like, oh my gosh, I can say that because I'm 20 now. As a teenager, like living at home with my family, I was like super into like emotional arguing and like confrontations and like being right and winning the argument. And I did debate in high school, which was like the perfect outlet for me. And now I realize that like arguing with people all the time isn't the best way to like maintain relationships. And so I like had this epiphany when I was 16. I feel so lame for saying this, where I was like, I realized like it's not always good to win. Like sometimes it's not always good to win the argument. Like sometimes people are more important. So that's like an area where I've grown in, like not trying to like argue with everyone, although like I still do. And now that I'm a philosophy major and understand logic, I will just like pull out logic when I'm like not in like the best state of mind. I will just like pull out logic on my friends and be like, that's this fallacy, like you're wrong. And I can just be like awful when I'm like arguing with people and trying to be right. Like I have the tendency to think I'm right, but I've really worked on that in the past like 5 years or so, and like being more open-minded and being willing to be proven wrong. And so my thing though is like, try to prove me wrong, but you have to like use like logic. Like if you're using like an emotional argument, like I don't care. And so Fallon's really good at this, where like if we're arguing about something, like we don't argue, we have discussions about things. Like to me it's not like, we're not like mad at each other, we're just like having a discussion and like a disagreement. It's like a disagreement. If we ever have a disagreement, she knows that like she has to like Google it and like find the research and like prove to me, and then I'm like, okay, people need to use logic, and if they don't use logic, then like I'm just like, that's invalid. Also, I'm super like overly detail oriented. The way I study is insane. Like I have the textbook, I annotate the textbook, I have another piece of paper, I take like an outline of the textbook, I make like these insane flashcards. Like I'm just like so detail oriented that I don't think about like the big picture of like getting a good grade on the test. Like sometimes I will study like more than like all of my friends in a class and get a lower grade because I'm so focused on remembering like all the details that I don't ever like get to actually knowing the main concepts. Also, I'm very like verbally expressive. Like when I have a problem, I state it. When I think something's awesome, I state it. I'm just always like expressing my opinions out loud. I don't really think about the consequences of my actions, and I can be super impulsive when I do things or say things, and I don't even realize looking back until like what I actually did. Also, this doesn't happen much anymore, but I know ESTJs can be really mean. Like when we're like sad or angry, we can just like say things that are just so brutally honest and hurtful. And I don't know, I have the power to just like completely hurt people, and because I know exactly what to say to just like hurt them, but I don't do that. But I read that before, and thinking back on like my interactions with my family, I feel like I've definitely done that before, where I know it's awful. I don't do that anymore, but like we know exactly what to say to just like hurt people. Also, I'm awful with emotions. I've gotten better at this, but naturally, like, I had to work at it. Like, some people are just so good at like being empathetic and like giving emotional support and listening and caring about people's emotions, and that's something that like God had to develop in me. Like, I am not naturally like that at all. My go-to is applying logic to it, and I don't know, like I'm just like not good at emotions, and I don't even like understand my own emotions a lot of times. Like I try to apply logic to things like relationships and stuff. Something I've really had to learn is that like my feeling side is like equally important and valid as like an argument, and that's something that is bizarre to me. I'd rather everything just like be neatly into an argument. And something else is I'm super black and white. Like it's either right or wrong. Like it's either evil or good. Like, and that's something I've been working on a ton this year because like some of my classes have just really helped me with like ambiguity and like feeling good about it. But typically I hate ambiguity. I hate gray area. Like an example is like when a guy likes you and you're in between that stage of like dating and like being friends and you're like hanging out, and that like time period like not being defined and just like hanging out. I hate that. It makes me angry because I'm like, well, what is going on? I like communication. Something else about me that I've been working on a lot is like I'm so like legalistic about following laws. Like if I'm in a car with a friend and they're going like 2 miles over, I'm like, hey, like go the speed limit. So I can have the tendency to just like not think through rules. Like if it's a rule, I'm like, that's right, I'm gonna follow it perfectly. But lately I've been becoming more like rebellious. Not rebellious, just like not accepting every single rule as like absolutely need to follow it, but being more like thinking through rules rather than just like accepting the way they are. I just know that ESTJs are stereotypically the people who just like blindly follow the rules, and it's really good that I grew up with a dad who's an INTJ because he is critical of systems and like breaks them down and like finds flaws in systems, and so it's really good because he's really given me this perspective of challenging authority and not just accepting everything, because I don't want to be like someone in the Holocaust, like one of the Nazi people just like following Hitler. Like that's bad too. Like it's bad to just blindly accept rules and follow them. And so I think that's given me a really good perspective to like think through things better. Also, I think ESTJs are like really like happy and like enthusiastic and like excited. I think that's an ESTJ thing too. Although I know I have like an empathetic personality type and just like extreme emotions kind of thing, and I think that's separate from ESTJ. But I've read before, like, people find ESTJs annoying because we're always excited about things. Like, people are so negative about ESTJs online, like, so mean about us, and I think it's, like, really cruel. Like, I could be mean about other personality types, so that's not, like, nice. Like, I didn't choose to be an ESTJ, I just am an ESTJ. My main, like, argument pro-ESTJ is, like, the only reason we get really, like, bossy and assertive and controlling is because we can't trust people to get stuff done in a timely manner in an excellent way. If everyone else could like get stuff done and be efficient and like be committed towards like the goal, then we wouldn't become like super controlling and like judgmental. That's how I feel. Growing up, I never really felt like challenged by guys or anything. Like I know there's a lot of sexism in the world, but I don't know. I like was more easily friends with guys growing up. In debate, a lot of girls were like doing the like performance theater type events, and I was in the like one-on-one debating event, and there were like barely any girls in LD, and that's something I noticed, and I think it's because I have like a T personality type. Most girls are not a T, most girls are Fs, and so I think that like naturally I'm more of like a guy's personality type. I don't know, I just think that's interesting because we have like a sexist world that tells like girls have to act a certain way, and like for me I never felt pressured to act a certain way because I'm so like, this is me, I'm assertive, like deal with it kind of thing. Okay, that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Comment below what your Myers-Briggs is. I know I've talked about Myers-Briggs in so many videos, and so a lot of you have commented below what yours are, and I probably am gonna make more Myers-Briggs videos, maybe with some of my friends, like talking about like how our personalities interact. And I hope you guys like Myers-Briggs. It's just a really fun way to like understand yourself better and improve on your flaws and understand the people in your life. And I will be back next Monday with a new video. Bye!